Hello and welcome to this B1 Intermediate lesson 46 with me, Kate. Today we will be looking at the past simple passive. First, possibly a new word for you. Listen and repeat. Invented. Invented. Brilliant. I want to know if you know anything about the invention of dark glasses, jeans, shampoo, or Chanel perfume. That's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, so here are three versions of how some everyday objects were invented. Which one do you think is true? So the first dark glasses were made to help pilots fly aeroplanes, were used by blind people, were worn in China by Chinese judges. Which one do you think is true? Let me help you. So dark glasses have been an important fashion item for a number of years now, but the first dark glasses had nothing to do with fashion and nothing to do with the sun. Glasses with dark lenses were worn by judges in China more than 600 years ago. They were smoke-coloured lenses, so people couldn't see their eyes and therefore couldn't know what they were thinking. So the first dark glasses were worn in China by Chinese judges. The first dark glasses were worn in China by Chinese judges. Okay, what about blue jeans? The first blue jeans were designed as working clothes by a man called Levi Strauss. Were made in China in the 1960s. Were worn by US soldiers during World War II. Which one do you think is true? Let me help you. The history of blue jeans goes back to the 19th century. A young immigrant called Levi Strauss designed the first jeans as clothes for people who worked long hours in the open air, such as gold miners and even cowboys. They didn't become fashionable until the middle of the last century. So the first blue jeans were designed as working clothes by a man called Levi Strauss. Next one. The first liquid shampoo was invented by a Frenchman called Charles Shampoo, was used in India over 2,000 years ago, or was developed by a bald man. Which one do you think is true? Let me help you. Although the word shampoo comes from a Hindi word, the history of modern liquid shampoo is quite short. In the early 20th century, a man called John Breck became the world's leading shampoo manufacturer and helped give the world shiny, healthy hair. Breck himself, however, lost all of his hair and became completely bald. So the first liquid shampoo was developed by a bald man. The first liquid shampoo was developed by a bald man. Okay, let's look at our last example. Chanel's most famous perfume is called No. 5 because No. 5 was its inventor's lucky number. It took 5 years to develop it. It was created in 1905. Which one do you think is correct? Let me help you. Chanel No. 5 was introduced by the French fashion designer Coco Chanel in the 1920s. Because she considered the number 5 to be her lucky number, the perfume was first presented on the 5th of May, the 5th month of the year. So Chanel's most famous perfume is called No. 5 because number 5 was its inventor's lucky number. Chanel's most famous perfume is called No. 5 because number 5 was its inventor's lucky number. Good, well done. So we're looking today at the past simple passive. We formed the past simple passive with the subject, was or were, which is of course the verb to be in its past form, and the past participle. We use the past simple passive when the action is more important than the person who did it. The past simple passive is common when we're speaking formally or in written reports. For example, We were told to report to the police station as soon as possible. Or more than 30 people were injured in the explosion. So let's go back to our sentences about inventions. In these two sentences, I want you to identify the passive form. Sentence A. Chanel No. 5 was introduced by the French fashion designer Coco Chanel in the 1920s. And B. Because she considered the number 5 to be her lucky number, the perfume was first presented on the 5th of May. Can you identify the passive forms in these sentences? The first sentence, was introduced. Chanel No. 5 was introduced. The fact that it was introduced by the fresh fashion designer Coco Chanel isn't as important. It's at the end of the sentence. So Chanel No. 5 was introduced. Let's look at B. Can you identify the passive form here? Was presented. The perfume was first presented on the 5th of May. We don't know who physically presented it, we just know it was presented. Okay, how do we form the past simple passive? We form the past simple passive with the subject and then the verb to be in its past form was or were. We use was if the subject is singular and were if the subject is plural, plus the past participle. So for instance here we have Chanel No. 5 was introduced. The perfume was first presented. In these sentences, who introduced Chanel No. 5? Coco Chanel introduced Chanel No. 5. In sentence A, what is the subject? The subject is Chanel No. 5. Chanel No. 5 was introduced. And in sentence B, what is the subject? In sentence B, the subject is the perfume. The perfume was first presented. Okay, we're going to have a practice. I'm going to show you some sentences and you must choose the best form, active or passive. So sentence A, Hungarian journalist Laszlo Biro invented or was invented the world's first ballpoint pen in the 1930s. What's the correct choice? Hungarian journalist Laszlo Biro invented the world's first ballpoint pen in the 1930s. It's invented. We know who did this action. It's right there at the beginning. Laszlo Biro, he did the inventing. So Hungarian journalist Laszlo Biro invented the world's first ballpoint pen in the 1930s. Let's look at another example. The world's first robot dog, Sony Corporation's ERS-110, went on sale in 1999. 3,000 sold or were sold in the first 20 minutes. What's the correct choice? The world's first robot dog, Sony Corporation's ERS-110, went on sale in 1999. 3,000 were sold in the first 20 minutes. The world's first robot dog, Sony Corporation's ERS-110, went on sale in 1999. 3,000 were sold in the first 20 minutes. Were sold, the passive is the correct choice because it doesn't tell us who did the selling. It's not important. And let's look at our final example. In 2003, Google voted or was voted the world's most popular search engine. What is the correct choice? In 2003, Google was voted the world's most popular search engine. In 2003, Google was voted the world's most popular search engine. The passive was voted is the correct choice because we don't know who did the voting. It's not important. Okay, fantastic. Well done for today's lesson. I have a task for you. Can you rewrite this active sentence in the past simple passive? So the sentence is, the chef cooked a delicious meal. Can you rewrite this sentence in the past simple passive? Leave your comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe to show your support. And coming next in lesson 47, we'll be looking at vocabulary for personal characteristics. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.